Chapter 1. Freed by Dreams. Hira was the mother of a daughter. She spent all her time pampering her 10-year-old daughter, Khadija. Hira's husband was transferred to Saudi Arabia. Because of the distance, he could only visit once a year. This often made Hira feel lonely.
Mommy, everyone asks me where my father is and why he hasn't come to meet us in so long.
Khadija asked her mother one night before bed.
Dear, he's working hard for us overseas, which is why it's difficult for him to visit often.
Hira replied.
But Mom, everyone else's fathers visit them. Even my friend Hamza's dad just came back from Dubai yesterday.
Khadija complained.
Khadija, your father will come soon. Don't worry and go to sleep now. You have school tomorrow.
Hira said, trying to dismiss the topic. The darkness of the night had engulfed Hira's home. It was the end of the lunar cycle, so there wasn't even moonlight to brighten the night. Hira had a habit of turning off all the lights in the house before sleeping, leaving it in complete darkness. The silence and darkness helped Hira and Khadija fall asleep quickly. That night, Hira fell into a deep, unconscious sleep. In her slumber, she had a dream. In her dream, the night was dark, with an open sky dotted by a few twinkling stars. There was a quiet, desolate desert, with small dunes and some rocky hills in the distance. Scattered bits of soil were spread across the uneven path. Amidst the dunes, an old, frail man appeared, stroking his beard and walking with the support of a staff. He navigated the uneven terrain with difficulty. But eventually, he reached a cave. He stopped a few steps away from the cave's entrance, where the name Hira was engraved in Arabic on the rocks above. Due to the darkness, the old man didn't notice the water at the cave's threshold. He stepped into the water and entered the cave, tapping the cave walls with his staff as he went further inside. The walls were damp and aged, making a hollow sound each time the staff struck them. Inside the pitch-black cave, the old man fell into prostration, lying there for a long time. Then, suddenly, he stood up and began to loudly proclaim,
Allah is one. Allah is one.
His voice echoed through the darkness of the cave. After repeating these words several times, the old man started wandering around the cave, touching the damp walls. At one point, his foot struck a rock. He picked it up and began to feel its surface. Finding a sharp edge, he started scratching the cave walls with the rock. Some parts of the cave walls were damp and decayed, while others were dry, creating a loud scraping sound as the rock struck them. Hira woke up. All of a sudden, she could still hear the sound of the scratching echoing in her ears. For a moment, she felt as though the sound was real, but as her drowsiness faded, she realized it was actually the sound of the morning call to prayer. Hira sat up in bed. It was early morning, and the sound of the adhan could be heard from all directions. As she became more alert, she noticed her bed was wet. Startled, she quickly threw the sheet to one side.
Khadija, Khadija,
She called, waking her daughter, who was still in a deep sleep.
What happened, Mommy?
Khadija asked, rubbing her small eyes.
did you wet the bed? Did you pee?
Hira asked angrily.
But Mommy, my pajamas are dry.
Khadija replied, examining her clothes carefully. That's when Hira realized it wasn't Khadija but herself who had wet the bed. She checked her own pajamas, which were damp all over. Khadija stared at her mother in confusion as Hira sat there, embarrassed.
Get up and get ready for school. If you stay in bed, your clothes will get wet too.
Hira said, quickly ushering Khadija out of the room. Obeying her mother, Khadija got up and went to the changing room to prepare for school. After changing the bedsheet, Hira rushed to the bathroom to clean herself. Once she was freshened up, she stepped out of the bathroom and saw the morning sunlight streaming into the room. She glanced at the wall clock and then headed to the kitchen to prepare breakfast.
Mommy, what happened to you last night?
Khadija asked while having breakfast.
Nothing, maybe I wasn't feeling well, which is why I didn't realize when I wet the bed.
Hira explained to Khadija.
I'm grown up now. I don't do things like that anymore, Mommy.
Khadija added confidently.
Yes, my child, I'm proud of you for not doing such things anymore.
Hira praised her. It's school time now, and the school bus must be arriving soon, Hira said lovingly while kissing Khadija. Khadija, showing a little attitude, headed off to school. Same day at night.
Mommy, hasn't Papa called yet?
Khadija asked as she lay down next to Hira on the bed.
No, I was thinking the same. It's been so long, and your papa still hasn't called.
Hira expressed her concern.
Mommy, is Papa upset with us?
Khadija asked further.
No, he's not upset. It seems like he has a lot of work this month, which is why he hasn't been able to find the time.
Hira reassured her.
Mommy, it's night now, and I have school tomorrow. Let's sleep.
Khadija said with the authority of a grown-up.
Yes, of course.
Hira replied, laughing.
Mommy, I think you should use the bathroom before bed. Otherwise, your bed might get wet again like last night.
Khadija said, reminding her of the previous night's incident.
No, that won't happen tonight. Yesterday, I was in a very deep sleep, which is why I didn't notice. Tonight, I won't sleep so deeply, don't worry.
Hira explained, defending herself.
Alright, Mommy. I believe you. Good night.
Khadija said, kissing Hira on the cheek before turning to her side to sleep. This time, Hira had left the light on in her room, taking precautions so that if there was an emergency during the night, she could easily go to the bathroom. For a long time, Hira kept her eyes open, staring at the light, and as she continued looking at it, she didn't realize when she drifted off to sleep. Once she fell into a deep sleep, Hira returned to her dreamland. In the dream once again. The same barren desert, the uneven mountain paths, the small mounds of dirt scattered around, and that cave, this time illuminated with light. From the mountain path, the old man was making his way down, leaning on his stick for support. This time, the moonlight was aiding him, lighting his way and making it easier for him to navigate. With the help of the moon's glow, the old man walked briskly toward the cave, tapping his stick on the ground as he moved. Upon reaching the entrance of the cave, the old man lifted his head and looked toward the sky. He tried to read the name Hira etched in Arabic on the stone above the cave's entrance. After standing outside the cave for a few moments, the old man grasped his beard in his fist and washed his face with the water pooling at the cave's threshold. Then, he entered the cave. Inside, the old man observed the cave scenery. The moonlight illuminated the walls of the cave, making the damp surfaces and the water dripping down clearly visible. The old man carefully examined the view, repeatedly proclaiming,
Allahu Akbar.
After gazing at the surroundings for a while, the old man fell to the ground in prostration in the moonlight. He remained in prostration for a long time. When he finally stood up, he raised his hands toward the moonlight, silently offering a heartfelt prayer. Then suddenly, the old man rose and began striking the cave walls with his stick, shouting Allahu Akbar at the top of his voice. Khadija waking her up.
Mommy, you're wet again.
Khadija said, waking Hira from her sleep.
Oh, my god.
Hira exclaimed as she quickly sat up, realizing her condition.
I woke you up because it's almost time for school.
Khadija explained further.
You did the right thing. I'm so late today, and your school bus must have arrived by now.
Hira said, looking at Khadija in surprise.
Yes, I'm leaving. I already had breakfast on my own. I just wanted to say goodbye.
Khadija informed her.
Alright, take care.
Hira said, waving from a distance. As soon as Hira responded, Khadija left for school. After Khadija left, Hira began blaming herself.
What is happening to me? This has never happened before. What kind of dreams are these that I don't even realize when I need to go to the bathroom?
Hira threw the blanket off her legs in frustration and rushed toward the bathroom. While Hira was taking a shower, her mobile ringtone distracted her. She quickly turned off the shower, wrapped herself in a towel, and answered the phone. Hira picked the phone.
Hello, how are you?
Hira asked as soon as she picked up the call.
I'm fine, love. How about you?
Khadija's father replied.
I'm not fine. It's been so long. You neither come home on vacation nor call regularly.
Hira complained.
You know how difficult it is to make time because of my work schedule.
Khadija's father explained.
Stop making excuses. Tell me, where is Khadija? Is everything okay at home?
He asked, trying to console her.
Yes, Khadija has gone to school, but I feel like I'm not okay.
Hira replied.
What happened?
He asked.
For the past few days, I've been having strange dreams that make my nights very difficult.
Hira admitted.
What kind of strange dreams?
He asked, sounding surprised.
I can't explain over the phone, but whenever I have these dreams, I feel like I'm in another world, completely detached from reality.
Hira said.
I don't understand what you're saying.
He replied, confused.
Anyway, I called to tell you that I'll be coming home soon.
That's such great news. When are you coming back?
Hira asked excitedly.
In a day or two. Alright, I have to go now. I'll see you soon.
Khadija's father informed her and quickly hung up. When dreams mirror history.
Khadija, do you know, Papa is coming?
Hira reported as Khadija was about to go to bed.
Mommy, such great news. Why didn't you tell me earlier?
Khadija asked excitedly.
I thought I'd tell you once you were free.
Hira added.
This is such big news for me. When is Papa coming, and what will he bring for me?
Khadija asked eagerly.
He will arrive in 2 days. He was asking about you, but I told him you were at school.
Hira informed her.
I am so happy about Papa's arrival that I won't be able to sleep tonight.
Khadija expressed her excitement.
Well, you have to sleep because you have school tomorrow.
Hira suggested while getting up from the bed.
Yes, I will try to sleep so that these 2 days pass quickly, and I can see Papa soon.
Khadija said happily.
Alright, try to sleep in bed. I will sleep on floor tonight.
Hira said while spreading a bed sheet on the floor.
Why, Mommy, why are you sleeping on the floor?
Khadija asked in surprise.
Dear, I am unwell, and I cannot control myself, which causes me to wet the bed. That's why I'm sleeping on floor so that my sleep isn't too deep, and I can wake up immediately in case of an emergency.
Hira explained in detail.
Okay, Mommy, you sleep well. Good night.
Khadija said with care. Hira once again turned on the room light as a precaution, spread the bed sheet on the floor, and lay down. She had only been lying there for a while when she fell asleep, and the same dream came to her again. In the dream, Hira saw an old man was already standing at the entrance of a cave, looking at Hira's name written in Arabic above the cave. After standing in the darkness for a while, the old man sat down and began washing his face with water found nearby. He washed his face 3 times, then poured water on his arms up to the elbows. After that, he knelt down and washed his feet in the water. After purifying himself with the water outside, the old man stood up with the help of his staff and slowly entered the cave. As soon as he entered, he tied his hands in prayer and began worshipping in the darkness. It had only been a short while since he started praying when a figure with large wings flew in from somewhere and entered the cave. Standing behind the old man, deeply immersed in his worship, had no idea who was standing behind him. The winged figure waited for him to finish. When the old man completed his prayer, he sensed someone behind him. He turned his head slightly in that same position to look.
Red.
The winged figure said, looking at the old man. The old man, already in shock, trembled with fear.
Red.
The figure repeated.
I am illiterate.
The old man mustered the courage to respond softly.
Read in the name of Allah, who created you from a clot of flesh.
The bird-like figure commanded. The old man was overcome with fear, struggling to speak but unable to utter a word. After staring at him for a while, the strange figure spread his enormous wings. His feathers were so large that they covered the entire interior of the cave, the walls, the roof. Everything disappeared under them. After spreading his wings, the figure moved closer to the old man and squeezed him tightly with both hands, enclosing him within his arms and wings.
Read in the name of Allah.
The strange figure commanded while gripping him firmly.
Read.
Was all the old man could barely manage to say. The old man was in a terrible state, trembling from head to toe, unable to say anything further. Sensing his distress, the strange figure suddenly let go of him. After releasing the old man onto the ground, the figure turned towards the entrance of the cave and, in the blink of an eye, leaped towards the sky. Within moments, he soared high into the air and vanished into the heavens. The old man lay trembling on the ground as if he were having a seizure. He remained in the cave, shivering and flailing his hands around. After a while, he managed to stand up. Though the convulsions had stopped, he was still visibly shaking. In this state, he slowly made his way out of the cave. Khadija woke her mother up.
Mommy, how long are you going to sleep?
Khadija asked, shaking her mother.
What happened? What happened?
Hira woke up startled and sat up on the floor.
Do you know I just got back from school, and you're still sleeping?
Khadija informed her.
Oh my god, did I sleep the entire day?
Hira smacked her forehead in shock, questioning herself.
I think you should see a doctor. You've wet the entire floor.
Khadija pointed out. Hira looked around in distress, unable to understand what had happened. She was speechless. Confusion was evident on her face. Her eyes were dry, her hair disheveled, her clothes soaked, and the nearby sheet also told the story of her condition.
Do you know, Mommy, today at school, we learned about the cave of Hira.
Khadija said, trying to engage her mother in conversation. What Hira was even more shocked.
Do you know that our Holy Prophet received the first revelation of the Quran in the cave of Hira?
Khadija informed her mother further. Okay, Hira responded briefly, making a displeased face. Seeing her mother's reaction, Khadija realized this was not the right time to continue talking. Hira, still looking upset, got up, pushed the wet sheet away from her legs, took out fresh clothes from her cupboard, and, lost in deep thoughts, walked toward the bathroom with a faint smile. Another night. The cold winter nights were so long that the passing of the day often went unnoticed. After waking up in the morning, Hira would spend all her time cleaning and doing household chores. She would usually finish her tasks by sunset. After dinner, the mother and daughter would lie in bed and talk about their day.
Why hasn't Papa come home yet?
Khadija asked while lying on her bed.
Don't worry, he'll come. Maybe his flight got delayed.
Hira replied as she tied her hair.
Can you check if Papa called?
Khadija insisted.
Oh, dear, stop worrying and go to sleep. He might return late at night.
Hira reassured her.
Okay, but Mommy, why are you getting dressed so late?
Khadija asked as she saw Hira applying lipstick after tying her hair.
I'm waiting for your papa, that's why I'm getting ready.
Hira said, pressing her lips together to spread the lipstick evenly.
Your suit looks really nice. I just hope it doesn't get wet tonight.
Khadija remarked.
Don't worry about my suit. Getting wet at night isn't something bad. It's pure water that comes out of me for a reason. When you reach my age, you'll understand.
Hira explained.
But Mommy, isn't wetting the bed a bad thing?
Khadija questioned again.
Yes, for little kids, wetting the bed is bad. But when you're 40 years old and it happens to you, there will be a specific reason behind it.
Hira replied.
Alright, Mommy, I think I'm too young to understand this. and I probably shouldn't discuss it.
Khadija said, ending the topic.
Yes, I know you're very wise. Now go to sleep, and we'll talk about the rest in the morning.
Hira comforted her. Mummy,
If Papa comes, please wake me up.
Khadija requested.
Okay, my love. Good night.
Hira said, greeting her. After Khadija fell asleep, Hira moved toward the bed. She was fully dressed up, her face revealing the intensity of her anticipation. Deep kohl-lined eyes, lipstick on her lips, and a rosy blush on her cheeks. She wore a dark-colored suit and lay on the bed with her eyes closed. Her posture suggested that she was eagerly waiting for someone. As soon as she lay down, she closed her eyes. For some time, she kept turning from side to side, and suddenly, she drifted into a dream. Chapter 3, White Fluid and the Depth of Hira. Hira's dream slowly. In the dream, the hazy glimpse of the cave became clearer. The word Hira was visible, written in Arabic on the cave. In the dream, Hira could sense a deep silence and stillness around her. The moonlight was directly entering the cave of Hira. A few clumps of soil were scattered on the barren ground. The wind was quite strong, and its direction was towards the cave of Hira.
Don't make a sound. Hide. I know a good place to hide.
An old man whispered to someone while crouching behind a mound.
This is not a safe place to hide. The people of Quraysh will find you here and kill you.
Warned a white-bearded man standing beside the old man.
Don't worry. Look ahead at the cave. Once I enter there, no one will be able to find me.
The old man said, raising his staff and pointing toward the cave of Hira.
Are you going to spend the night in this cave?
A white-bearded man asked with a grim expression.
Yes, I will stay here tonight. And Abu Bakr, you must inform all the other Muslims that as soon as the sun rises tomorrow, we must migrate to Medina. If we don't, the people of Makkah will kill me.
The old man explained in detail.
All right, Hazza. Take care of yourself. I will prepare the other Muslims for the migration to Medina.
The white-bearded man said, standing attentively after hearing the old man's words.
Okay, go. Now and we will all meet here at the first light of dawn.
The old man suggested and bid farewell to the white-bearded man. After the white-bearded man left, the old man picked up his staff and, moving cautiously, looking around, he made his way toward the entrance of the cave of Hira, hiding behind one mound after another. Just as the old man reached the threshold of the cave, voices could be heard in the distance. A group of about 10 to 15 people was searching for him and talking amongst themselves.
Look, he must be hiding somewhere around here,
said a young man in the group, gripping his sword tightly.
We won't let him escape today. That man insults our gods. Today, we will teach him a lesson.
Another man in the group shouted.
And search every corner. He must not escape from here today,
ordered one of the young men. At his command, the members of the group split up, each searching different parts of the area for the old man. Some were digging through the soil, some were looking behind the mounds, and others were scanning the barren land with their eyes. Meanwhile, from somewhere, a massive and enormous serpent appeared, making its way toward the entrance of the cave of Hira. Moving at a fast pace, the serpent slithered forward and reached the entrance of the cave, rolling over itself. It seemed as if the serpent was guarding the cave of Hira. The serpent was so thick that the entrance of the cave was completely hidden behind its body. Its length was so immense that it had almost engulfed the entire cave of Hira within itself. The old man, who had been secretly watching the approaching crowd from inside the cave, was now unable to see them because the serpent was standing at the entrance. The old man had no idea that a massive and gigantic serpent was outside the cave, blocking the entrance entirely and plunging the cave into complete darkness. Unable to see anything, the old man retreated into the depths of the cave and began his prayers. The group of 10-15 people, who had been searching for the old man for quite some time, could no longer see the cave of Hira because of the serpent. Disappointed and exhausted, they eventually gave up and went their separate ways. Moments later, an eerie silence enveloped the area outside the cave. The strong wind still howled, but where there had been movement and voices moments ago, now there was nothing but stillness. Outside the cave, the serpent remained seated in silence, its terrifying eyes scanning the surroundings. After a few moments, the serpent slowly began to enter the cave of Hira. As soon as it pushed its head inside, the entire mouth of the cave seemed to swallow it. The size of the cave's entrance was nearly the same as that of the serpent's head. Then, inch by inch, the serpent slithered further inside. The old man, exhausted, had closed his eyes in an attempt to sleep in the depths of the cave. But upon seeing the serpent, he panicked and immediately sat up. The serpent glared at the old man with rage. The old man, who had made his place deep inside the cave, began to call out the name of Allah in a loud voice. Due to the narrow space inside the cave, the serpent found it difficult to move forward. For a long time, the serpent glared at the old man in fury, growling and trying to push deeper into the confined space. Suddenly, the serpent opened its mouth and spewed a white-colored poison onto the old man. The moment the poison touched his face, the old man trembled and collapsed within seconds. As he fell to the ground, the serpent extended its fangs and spat more venom onto him. The effects of the poison began to spread rapidly across the old man's body. He writhed in pain in the depths of the cave, beating his hands against the ground. After struggling for a few moments, the old man took his last breath and passed away. Hira woke up. She felt someone moving her on the bed and something entering her between her legs. Hira struggled to open her eyes and rubbed them with both her hands.
Hey, you are here.
Hira said as she opened her eyes and looked at Khadija's father. Father of Khadija was above Hira and he was penetrating her. Hira was smiling as she looked at her husband above her.
Wow, you looked so beautiful while sleeping that I couldn't control myself.
Khadija's father said lovingly to Hira.
It's okay, I belong to you, and I've been restless for this night for a long time.
Hira said shyly. She then began kissing her husband's lips passionately. The next day, Hira's husband tried to find out about her condition. Hira did not mention her dreams. She simply said she was feeling unwell and thought it best to end the conversation there. After Khadija's father returned from Saudi Arabia, Hira started feeling better. She stopped having those dreams, and now she no longer had the chance to wet the bed at night. Even Khadija was happy and celebrating her father's return home.